much awaited FDP is starting now. I welcome the inaugural speaker, Professor K G Suresh, Vice-Chancellor of Makhanlal Chaturvedi University of Journalism. Sir, in this FDP, around 100 participants across India from various universities participating in this workshop, faculty members and research scholars also. Now I wish to introduce the inaugural speaker, Professor K G Suresh. Actually, KGS, we are calling as KGS. He's a very strong man like KGF in the media sector. It gives a great pleasure to introduce Mr. K G Suresh, the Honorable Vice-Chancellor of Makhanlal Chaturvedi University, a renowned journalist and academician par excellence. In his illustrious career as a journalist, he served as a senior consulting editor with Doordarshan News, the India's public news broadcaster, editorial consultant with Asianet News Network, chief political correspondent with Press Trust of India, and group media advisor to Dalmia Bharat Enterprises Limited. As senior consulting editor with Doordarshan News, Mr. Suresh played a pivotal role in introducing innovative programs, including Speed News, Water Valley, the world's first Sanskrit television news magazine, Good News India, the positive news from across the country, and launched DD's first Android-enabled app. At Press Trust of India, he has reported from across India and the world to cover developments including the Royal Palace Massacre in Nepal, BJP leader LK Advani's controversial visit to Pakistan, the post-Taliban situation in Afghanistan, the cyclone, the tsunami, earthquake, and violence in Gujarat, militancy in Kashmir, apart from Lok Sabha and state assembly elections. Over the last 2 decades, he has put his rich journalistic experience to use by serving as a media educator in reputed universities and institutes in all over India. He is also present on many academic councils and of universities and colleges across India, a winner of multiple awards and an avid TEDx speaker. Mr. K G Suresh has contributed richly to the field of media and media education. It is our honor to have him with us in the inaugural session. Now, I wish to hand over this session to Professor KGS. Please, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Arul Selvam Sriram, my friend, colleagues and my fellow media educators from all over the country who have joined this AICTE Atal FDP on photography and media communication. This has been organized by the University College of Engineering, Villupuram, which is affiliated to the, the Anna University, Chennai. So I'm really happy to be joining. And I'm joining you all from Rewa in Madhya Pradesh. So I'm not in Bhopal. I'm in the Rewa campus of, this is about 600 kilometers away from Bhopal. And Rewa is known it's known as the land of the white tiger. The first white tiger, which was conserved by the name Mohan, the entire white tiger population in the world owes its origin to him. And that white tiger, was because of its limestone quarries. You have massive production, including ACC and all that. They produce their cement here. So that's it. Now, why I'm telling you all this? I'm trying to create a visual imagery. I don't know how much impact it would have, but when I say the white tiger, I'm sure that certain visuals are coming to your mind. So how can, I mean, in fact, for many people, the white tiger is a new concept. They would say, how can tiger be white? So tiger has stripes, it is of yellow color. Why? Well, there is a scientific reason. It is due to a genetical mutation. Otherwise, the tiger is the same Royal Bengal tiger. But due to a genetical mutation, there is a, it has got a white hue. Now, this is interesting because with words, suppose I had shown you the pictures of I wish, because I'm in Riva, so I don't have that kind of facilities with me here. I'm not in my university. I would have loved to show you some pictures also. But what I wanted to say is that a picture is worth more than 1,000 words is something that we all learned in our J schools, in our media schools. So even if I'm trying to draw a picture of Riva, of the land of white tiger, I'm sure that you would have loved to see a picture of a white tiger, a grand white tiger. I'm sure that, you would have seen that. It would have made far more impressions than my description of a tiger. And that is why it was said long back that a picture is worth more than 1,000 words. Pictures can actually tell many stories without your saying so. Sometimes you cannot replace a picture with words. That is the power of the picture. It captures history for posterity. People will not believe, as they say, seeing is believing. People may not believe your written version, but they cannot ignore, they cannot deny your visual recording of that moment. There are many moments in our history, in world history, which has been recorded in pictures. I'm sure that most of you who have, I'm sure all of you, all of us, we are all media educators. We would have certainly at least gone through the basics of photography. And that's not the objective here. The idea is not to teach you photography. I'm sure most of you can teach me the finer aspects of photography. But what was the objective? If you remember the Vietnam bombing, the entire books have been written, of the US Vietnam, a tiny country taking on the mighty Americans. It has become part of the global folklore. You can always say that, how a small country can fight such a huge country and win. But all those things, the brutality of the American bombings, which have been extensively explained in book after book, volume after volume, cannot be explained as effectively as that one photograph of a naked child running, trying to escape the napalm bombing. That is the power of photography. That is the power of photography. One photograph can, I don't know, you remember some of the very spine-chilling, soul-stirring photographs of the Bhopal gas tragedy. I'm sure you have them in mind. Because I come from Bhopal, where my university is located. You can remember those stories of those children who have been impacted by the infamous notorious, tragic gas leak. Those images are still vivid in our mind because no books, we would have forgotten that the Union Carbide was involved in that, or methyl isocyanate was, got leaked from that factory. These aspects, and there used to be a person by the name Warren Anderson who was allowed to escape. All those things, you had a chief minister at that time by the name Arjun Singh, and you had a Mr. Rajiv Gandhi was the prime minister at that time. I mean, you would forget all those things, but those photographs will remind you of the brutality, the tragedy of that massive, of proportions, which you would remember thanks to those photographs. The Somalian hunger, you look at the hunger in Somalia, the pictures of those skeletons, virtual skeletons, they were skeletons, but they were human beings. They were human beings, children. But you remember, those are still vivid before my eyes, which I saw many decades back. Those pictures are still so vivid. Let's come to the Independence Day. So much was the importance of photography, Dr. Sriram, that Mahatma Gandhi, not many people know, postponed his Dandi March by one day because the photographer had not arrived. Not because Gandhiji wanted publicity. Perhaps he was the most extensively covered celebrity of his time. But he understood the importance of that photograph. So Dandi March was delayed by one day because the photographer had not arrived. He said that, no, this press photographer, only if he comes, then this message will go to the world of India's resolve for self-reliance, not to allow taxation on salt, to take the salt satyagraha to its logical conclusion, that we can produce our own salt. But this message, Gandhi being one of the most powerful communicators of the 20th century, he realized the importance of photograph like anything. He was among the most photographed people of his times. But he understood that importance and he postponed his entire satyagraha, the Dandi satyagraha, by one day. He said that, no, I will go only once the photographer comes. This is the importance of photography because it conveys a lot. What cannot be captured. So photograph is virtually recording history. I am sure most of you during this lockdown period would have got enough time to go through your old albums. I saw many people, they say throwback photographs, they would put on the social media, Facebook and other platforms. I saw so many people sharing their childhood photograph. Then they had 20 years challenge, 25 years challenge, hashtag, which they were sharing on the social media, because that is that connect with the photograph. You remind your grandchildren, your children of how your house looked like, how your parents looked like, how your grandparents looked like. So there is a collective memory, family memories associated with a photograph at a very personal level. Of course, I have already talked about the global historical importance of photographs. The photograph of Pandit Nehru unfurling the national flag, addressing the parliament at the stroke of the midnight when the world sleeps, India awakes to light and freedom. Those photographs that still remain vivid in our memory. His address from the ramparts of the Red Fort, those photographs on 15th August, His those photographs, right, addressing people his address at the time of independence, his address, the Gandhiji's cremation, when that funeral procession, I vividly remember all that in our, So photographs make an impact on you. It is photographs that mold public opinion. Sometimes it is photographs that can bring about a mindset change. So photographs are very powerful. I'm sure these are not new things for you. But I just wanted to reiterate that despite the fact that everything has changed, the importance of photograph has not changed. Technology has changed. Platforms have changed. From print, we shifted to an electronic media, the television media, which wanted powerful visuals. Of course, they were moving visuals. But there cannot be. The biggest challenge, I have worked across the, media spectrum. I've worked as a print journalist. I've worked as an agency journalist. I've worked as a television journalist. And I've worked as a digital journalist. Now, but I realized one thing, that everything changed. The style of reporting was different. The style of coverage was different. For everything, as an agency journalist, I could quote people, I can quote sources, and my story would be a big hit. I did not need pictures for that. But the moment I shifted to television, I had to substantiate everything with a picture. Without visuals, in the absence of visuals, the stories had no meaning. It would be just a piece to camera by the reporter. I remember being part of so many historical events, that some of which Dr. Arul Selvan Sriram mentioned here. I remember being part of that very controversial trip by Mr. Advani, who celebrated his birthday, 93rd birthday yesterday. I was part of that journey which in a way changed the ruling party's history. Because I was the only journalist present inside the mausoleum of Muhammad Ali Jinnah at that time. And I could see what he had written. And I reported that the moment I came out. And that became global news that day. The rest is history. But if suppose I was a television journalist and I had no access inside, what would I have reported? I would have just reported whatever the agency had reported, because I had no visuals of somebody writing, because he did not say anything. He just wrote on the visitor's book, and that made history. That changed everything. So visual. For television also, of course it is the moving visuals, but nevertheless visual. Of course, we are in this FDP, we are talking about the importance of photographs. Now, let me share some experiences. I'm sure there are many other practitioners who are now going to be addressing all of you, many eminent names from the world of academia, and I'm sure they will deal with the theoretical aspects. But I have been a practitioner, and I will try to share some of my insights with you. I have realized that there are a couple of things which are now discernible trends which we ought to know. Today, attention spans have come down. Attention spans have come down from several minutes to few seconds. So much so that if you visit any website, good website, on top of every article, they will write 7-minute read, 5-minute read, 6-minute read. What is the objective of that? Because they know that readers have become increasingly impatient. Those days are gone when I would have the time in the morning to read all the newspapers in the city, and then I will start the day. Those days are gone. I don't have any more that kind of patience. Today, the flip of the mobile phone, I am just looking at this and I am aware what is happening in the United States, what is happening in the globally in Bihar. Today, I believe the election results are coming, and tomorrow, and it is going to impact the Bihar elections, the Bihar political situation. In Madhya Pradesh also, in my own states, very important by-elections are taking place. So I don't need to wait for tomorrow's newspapers. I can get all the information today itself. So I am moving very fast. So I've got the remote in my hand, technology has enabled. So television also, unless there is something which can grab my attention, hold on to my attention, I will switch over within split seconds. So the biggest challenge that media producers, they are content creators, are facing is how to retain the attention of the reader, the viewer, and the listener. This is the biggest challenge today. Because you are on a high-speed highway where people want information at the split of a second and they don't have the patience to wait. So that has changed everything, including writing styles. Those days, I remember many newspapers I used to write for, they would say that, oh, give me 1200 words, give me 1500 words. Today, digital platforms, when they want my analysis on anything, they will just say, sir, 400 words, 450 words. That is all. Because not that this internet has enabled that there is no need for a word limit. A newspaper had problems with word limit. In fact, they used to make fun of some newspapers. I remember, say for example, in Chennai, Hindu is very, widely read. But in Delhi, Hindu is not very popular. Hindu is only popular among aspiring civil servants, predominantly South Indians. There are Hindu, the way, say, Times of India or Hindustan Times is, it is not that. So the comparison among journalists when they would discuss is that, so when a Hindustan Times reporter writes a story, because of commercial reasons, because of huge advertisements, their news editor will call up and say that, cut down your story, cut down, bring it down to 400 words. Whereas the Hindu reporter, if he writes a 400-word story, his editor would tell him, increase the wordage to 1600, we have enough space. But internet has enabled that space is not a barrier. You can write tons because there is no word limit. You can go on writing page after page, but who will read? That is the $1 million question. Who will read? Who has the patience to read? So what is it? You have to be crisp. The writing style has changed. But most importantly, it is the importance of visuals. Can you attract somebody to your site, your website? Because today's topic is digital, the importance of visual communication in the digital age. Can you communicate with photographs? I remember we used to do photo features for magazines. I think we are going back to the visual age. It looks very interesting, but we are going back to pictorial depiction of our even emotions. Look at social media. I am happy, so there is an emoji for being happy. I am angry, there is an emoji for being angry. I am excited, there is an emoji for that. I can thank people with a namaste. I can show my, thumbs up if I want to congratulate somebody. There are even bouquets. Are we going to, there is a very beautiful, cave near Bhopal. I am sure some of you are familiar with. It is called the Bhimbetka Caves. It is ancient, prehistorical caves where you can see the people of those days used to scribble on the caves their various emotions. And somewhere I think we are going back when we are depicting the emotions through the emojis. So if somebody informs of a condolence of a death in the family, you will have an emoji of crying emoji, which you would put. And if somebody has put out a joke, you will have a laughing emoji. So we are again going back to the pictures in the digital age. This is the irony. Look at it. As we advance, our expression is going back to the pictorial. This is the most important part. Because we thought that being civilized, being literate meant expressing through words. But increasingly, we are expressing through pictures, through visuals. So even the emojis are actually visuals. You are communicating, you are sad. By just having an emoji with somebody having red emoji, you are communicating, you are furious, you are angry. Now this is, you are going back as we make advancement in the digital age, and long back it was said by Shakespeare that since brevity is the soul of wit, I shall be brief. And I think that we are not taking the pains to communicate through words. We have replaced it with pictures, with pictorial representation. It can be an animation. Why is there a growing demand for animation? There's a growing demand for animation, visual effects, comics. What is this? This is also visual communication. So we have to look at when we talk about, photography, when we are talking about photography, let us not confine it to just the static photographs that we are using a camera. I think we are talking about pictures. So when we are talking about pictures, we need to understand this, the power. I will give you one example, a few examples. Whenever I write a blog or I write an article, I generally share it on my social media handles, including Facebook and Twitter. Believe me, within split seconds of my writing that, I immediately start getting thumbs up emojis, likes, immediately. So I used to actually wonder that an article which would take 7 minutes to read, I have just shared it on my social media, and people have started liking it. When did they get the time to even open it and read it? I used to wonder. So once, out of curiosity, I called up a friend who immediately liked it. I said that, why did you like it? What did you like about it? He had no answers because he had just liked it because I had put it. So I said, you did it to please me. He said, no, sir, I'm sure you have written it very well. I said, no, you are sure, but have you even bothered to read it? So, because there is textual content in that. People think that if I open the link and start reading, it will take me 7 to 10 minutes. Suppose I had shared, and I did this, I experimented with this. So, when I went to Banaras, which is about 230 kilometers from here in Varanasi, Dr. Sriram may not be familiar with that, but people, my friends from North who are present here, they would be familiar with that. That in Banaras, kachoris are very popular for breakfast. And along with kachoris, you get something called jalebas. I'm not talking about jalebis. These jalebas are big ones, thick ones, stuffed ones. So, and they offer to you on a paper, on a leaf, which is often called patal. Believe me, I had gone for a seminar and I had time. I took photographs and I posted it on the Facebook. Within few minutes, I saw, I can tell you, hundreds of people literally consumed it. Whatever I had put across. Because it had immediate impact. There were many people who had actually eaten that in the past. And there were many who were attracted by the very look of that. And it was not just likes and shares, but the comments that I got, the reviews that I got immediately. Sir, you buy it from this place, it would be very interesting. You get it from this place. Why? Because the visual immediately connected you. There was an immediate attention which a textual content would not have given. The moment the pictures appeared on the home page, on your screen, immediately they could see it. There was no need for me to write that I had gone to Banaras, I ate this. There was no need for a text. The photograph itself spoke perhaps more than 1,000 words. And people reacted. I was able to not just communicate. Now, this is the fundamental difference. But I was able to engage. This is the power of the visual. That is why we say that this is the age of visual storytelling. Increasingly, because attention spans have come down and people are looking for both pictorial and textual content. I am not at all undermining the importance of the text. But then the text is coming down. Now, is it different over the years? No. No. I told you right from the days of Bhimbedka to, I would say, I don't know how many of you actually remember these days, I still buy it. Frontline used to be bought primarily, of course, they had in-depth stories on certain issues. But for me, it is the photo features of the Frontline which were far more interesting. The National Geographic. I don't think that most of us who used to read the National Geographic used to read it for the textual content. I think we always wanted to see those powerful photographs of the deep undersea, of the Virgin Mountain peaks, of the ice in Antarctica, the icebergs. I think that used to really attract you like anything. So visuals have always attracted mankind. We are very, very naturally inclined to visuals. And because of that, there has always been, only the medium has changed. Only the platform has changed from print to electronic and now digital. But the power of the visual will always remain. So what I wanted to say, a couple of things, is that even in the digital era, when you are talking about reduced attention spans, if there is something that can still capture the attention of the readership, it is the powerful visual communication that you do. So it could be a video, it could be a photograph, a still photograph or few photographs. They can still, you look at any social media platform, the provisions for photographs, you would see, and this has been very scientifically studied, that any post with photographs or with visuals performs far more effectively rather than textual content on social media. Now, social media has connected to a sizable section of the humanity. Even in India, Indians are hugely connected with the social media. So to reach out to them, it is the powerful photographs. I mean, I often say that if Gandhi was the most powerful communicator of the 20th century, one of the most powerful communicators of our times, very effective communicator, is the Prime Minister. So whether it is using the radio, through his Man Ki Baat, he is a communicator. You may agree or disagree with him. That's a different thing. But he knows, he has understood the psychology. He has understood the inclinations. So he would always send these powerful visuals, whether it is his doing yoga, his meditating in a cave. You remember all those visuals, powerful visuals. He would create visuals. I'm sure Dr. Shriram would remember how when Xi Jinping came to, your Mahabalipuram, he dressed in a veshti and, and because he knows that, this is going to be the most powerful image of the day.
Yes.
So this is important. If you are going to communicate, you should know what is there in the mind. So you need to have an understanding of the mindset of the target audience that you are, trying to attract. That is very important. Without that, if you put any photograph, it is not going to sell. So visuals also have to be in tune, in sync with what the readers, what the viewership wants. Only then the visual power, the communication will become powerful. Is it relevant? So the entire rules of news that I and you used to follow. So that includes timeliness, proximity. Has it changed? Just look at it. Now suppose if on, now in today we have, this is November 9th. So if I today put a photograph related to Independence Day, will it succeed? It won't. It won't get the kind of attention that you would get on August 14th or 15th, the images that you will have. Anything related to patriotism, anything related to the tricolor. I have prepared couple of years, I prepared tricolor idlis on 15th August and I shared it. Immediately there was a huge response. But today if I do it, it will draw much lesser response. So timeliness is there, which is one of the, again, when we teach news, this is one of the elements of news. So it remains, it has not changed. The fundamentals have not changed. Proximity. I am sure an image from Tamil Nadu would make far more impact in Tamil Nadu rather than an image from Riva in Madhya Pradesh, unless there is a universal appeal. So a white tiger, if I send it to you, Dr. Shriram, it will have far more, certainly it will have an impact. But a routine photograph from Riva in Madhya Pradesh won't have the impact that a photograph from Coimbatore or Tirupur will have.
Yes.
So proximity again is very important even in visual storytelling. So the elements of the news remains the topicality, the relevance to the audience. Has it changed in any way? The relevance to the audience also has to be there, to the audience which you are looking at. So a photograph of a cuisine will certainly appeal to the people who are foodies, who love food, the connoisseurs of good food. Maybe a painting, an abstract painting will not appeal to you and me.
Yes.
It will appeal to, so you need to have in visual storytelling customized content. That is very important. What is it that the audience you are looking for, your target audience are looking for? So customized content has to be an integral part when you are doing visual storytelling. So an abstract painting, an M.F. Hussain, will make sense only to those who are aware of the finer aspects of fine arts. The layman may not be interested. For him, you will have to explain. An M.F. Hussain painting, you will have to explain that this is a horse. Otherwise, he will keep looking at the entire photograph. He will never come to know that it is a horse. But a connoisseur of art will immediately recognize. He would know that. So for the layman, it would be the Raja Ravi Varma's paintings of gods and goddesses that would make much more appeal rather than an M.F. Hussain painting. So if you are looking at a painting visual storytelling, which should appeal to larger number of people, then you should go for either a landscape painting or a portrait painting. So what will appeal to the larger audience? The same issue. So the entire elements of the news remains the same. Only thing is that instead of text, you are using pictures. This is the only difference. No other difference. And of course, the quality of the picture, the lighting, everything matters. Light plays a very critical role in that. Shades, light, silhouette. How you are going to communicate? What is it that you want to communicate? Remember the emergency? What did many newspapers do? They just blackened the front page. And that sent a whole message. A message of protest, a message of dissent. That we protest. They did not say anything. They just colored it black. They just did not say anything. You remember one television channel, when some action was being taken against it, it decided to just show a black screen. It just showed a black screen, a prominent national television channel. A mark of protest. So the colors, In visual storytelling, colors make a lot of impact. What is the color that you are using? So today, when you show the pink color or the rainbow color, so initially the pink and the purple used to represent children. But today times have changed. Today, if you show that, it is more reflecting of the LGBT community. The gay pride, the gay parades you have. So LGBT community, when you show that color, is it somewhere? So people have started identifying colors with certain things, certain subjects. So I need to understand that. So if I need to have a backgrounder, I need to have an understanding of the colors. What does it mean? You know, on Diwali day, a lot of people, doctors, they are talking about a blue Diwali. Now, this is about diabetics, diabetic awareness. So, they will have even the monuments lit up in that color. So, when to mark specific occasions, you will have monuments the world over lit up in a particular color. What is the whole idea? Because colors have started getting identified with a cause. And these monuments, when they are lit up, they make a visual impact. So, on Independence Day, when the highest tower in the world in Dubai, when it is lit up in the tricolor, you have every Indian television channel showing it. Because it makes a difference. The colors, the picture, the color scheme. So visual storytelling is a lot about the usage of color, the shades, the lights, all these matters. And they're very important. Friends, I can go on and on because this is a subject very close to my heart, and I'm sure of hearts, all of our hearts. And but I'm sure you have another session also coming up, and Dr. Shriram insisted that we should have a Q&A session. So I will be happy to. I see a lot of messages also from Dr. Sanjeev Gupta, from Suruchi Agarwal, Dr. Shripati. I mean, I see so many media educator friends who are there, who are already commenting on the chat box. I will be happy to respond. Just to sum up, before we start the Q&A, Dr. Shriram, there is going to be growing importance of visual storytelling in the coming days.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Your stories have to be necessarily accompanied by visuals, and the more powerful the visuals, the more effective the stories would be. A Vidarbha farmer suicide would be much more effective. That doesn't mean you have to show the visual of the suicide per se, but the plight of the farmers, that can be captured not in words but in pictures. How much, if you see women carrying empty pots on their heads and walking under the sun through the sand dunes in search of water, would make a more powerful and telling story of the water scarcity, rather than any 1,000 or 2,000 word story on that. So these visuals are very, very important, and we have to, as media educators, we have to train our students in the art of visual storytelling, if I may use that term. It's an art. on how to effectively use, photographs, visuals, animation, comics were required for, imagine, could you have the impact of a Bahubali, that is all because of the power of special effects. Of the Lion King, we all, youngsters, adults, it was not, though it was, everybody said that that's a children's film. Would you have, in normal circumstances, watched The Lion King? If it was just a story, you would have said, "Arey, this is for kids, yaar." But I'm sure the adults perhaps enjoyed it more than, or the Jungle Book for that matter. We all enjoyed it equally because of how animation, how special effects, they were all so effectively used to tell stories. Now that is the power of, the visuals. Films, they have done hugely well, which had excellent cinematography, so that is why you had people who, with great cinematographers, great filmmakers, they depend on the camera. It is the camera work that is finally going to decide on the destiny of a particular films, the way they are shot. The huge visuals of Jurassic Park, I don't think many people remember the story of Jurassic Park, but you remember those huge dinosaurs, that is very captured in your minds. So whether it is a cinema, or it's a newspaper, or it is a digital content, it is the pictures that will remain etched in your memories for a long time. On that note, I would like to stop here, and I would be happy to answer any specific query, or if I would also welcome, because we have about 15-20 minutes. Yes. So also any observations from, our friends, who are present here. So I don't know what is the, process, Dr. Sriram, will they be allowed to unmute themselves and speak?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please go ahead. Thank you so much for inviting me, and for this inaugural session.
You,
I feel really delighted to be here. And I was there at Anna University a couple of years back, physically also, at the invitation of Dr. Sriram. And today, it's an honor to be here digitally, virtually, and looking forward to physical visit to Anna University again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor. I think everyone agree with Professor K G Suresh. Now it is again the visual era. We can say it is a visual era. Whatever we want to inform, we have to inform through visuals. Through the due to invasion of digital media, especially social media, we are putting just one image. We are getting lot of likes or comments or many more. This is because most of the social media users, they are seeing only visuals. If you are putting any content, they won't see. The reading habit is decreasing nowadays. Professor Suresh, he visited our Anna University campus a couple of years back. He's a very simple man. Even though at that time he was the Director General of Indian Institute of Mass Communication, he was such a polite and simple. Really, our faculty member, our colleagues and scholars, students, everyone like him very much. Now we can go to the question and answer session. The participant can raise any questions, doubts, or give a comment on the lecture. Please, you please unmute yourself and ask a question one by one, please.
Very good morning, sir. This is Dr. Fakir Mohan from Chandigarh University.
Welcome.
Suresh sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, it's audible.
Yes. Sir, actually, I have a question that the popularization of mobile phone, I can say the increasing demand of internet telephony and smartphones particularly. Do you think it has helped in developing our citizen journalism?
Okay, Dr. Fakir Mohan Naik, good to see you after a long time.
Thank you, sir.
I wanted to deal with that, but it would have taken another 1 hour. So, mobile journalism has revolutionized, visual storytelling like anything. Today, everybody is a visual storyteller. But somehow I have a problem with this term citizen journalist, Dr. Naik.
Yes, sir.
This is a term which we imported blindly from the West. I think that this has diluted the value of journalism like never before. Because have you ever heard of the term citizen doctor? Can anybody become a doctor? Have you ever heard of the term citizen engineer? Can anyone become an engineer just like that? No. But by allowing this term citizen journalism, anybody and everybody with no formal, informal training of journalism, without understanding the values, ethics, principles of journalism, without understanding the constitutional provisions, without understanding the legal provisions, including libel, slander, defamation, everybody has started writing left, right, and center, thus bringing about a bad name for journalism itself. It is like the quacks, who practice, medicine, but give a bad name to the doctors. So I think that if you cannot have citizen doctors, you cannot have citizen journalists also. You can call them citizen content creators, call them content creators, call them tech citizens, but not citizen journalists. Now, having said that, coming to your point, certainly yes, no doubt about it that today this mobile has enabled each one of us to become content creators rather than citizen journalists. So we are developing content like anything. And I think that, and social media is not driven by formal journalism. In fact, digital media is driven to a great extent by mobiles. Today, the expansion of the mobile phone usage has immensely contributed to these pictures. You are able to communicate to a larger audience, and you don't need a via media to reach out. You don't need a middleman to reach out to the people at large, so undoubtedly, mobile phones have really helped in, visual storytelling like never before. It has revolutionized visual storytelling, I would say that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, this is Suruchi Agrawal. Good morning, sir.
Yes, morning. Yes, Suruchi.
Yes, sir. Actually, I don't have any question right now because you have given a powerful session, and with full of energy. So I just want to thank you, and you have given a very good comparison of Bembetka and emojis today. So I really like this comparison also, and it. So whatever we have forgotten the thing we have read in J schools, and we forgot many things. You have you have given such memories of those classes also, and now we have taken some energy from you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dear Professor Suresh sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning, VC sir. I am Dr. Sanjeev Gupta.
Yes,
and sir, I just want to know how photojournalism is affected by technological advancement in media. Can you put something on this, sir?
Well, absolutely, no doubt. Today, the advancement is technology has enabled photographs to capture even the the minutest say if you are covering a cricket match, what is the DRS all about? Today even the technology has enabled that you can even find mistakes in the decision of the neutral umpire. Now, that is what technology has enabled. Because you can capture, technology has enabled you that even a fraction of the second, what is happening, those moments you can capture. So I believe that that's a great enabler, the more the advanced the technology, the finest aspect of, so what you can say that we used to say that that one should learn how to read between the lines. I think that now cameras have started capturing between the seconds, between the moments, so they have started capturing. And that is how I think that it is helping in investigative journalism. It is helping in, what is this entire advancement in drone technology today? I mean, you see this during entire White House, this election, you saw drones being extensively used during the Jagannath Rath Yatra, when it was allowed by the Supreme Court during the peak of COVID-19. I remember watching it, and I saw that most of the Odia television channels were, using drones because Supreme Court had mandated that only very few people would be allowed to attend the procession of Lord Jagannath. So, drones used to capture. So what is drone used to minutely capture every moment on each of the Rath of Bhagwan Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra. So now that used to be, so that is the power of the technology, and it is certainly, making an impact. And the way we see things, the minute details into which the photographs can go is something that is really very powerful. Satellite cameras, how we saw, the visuals from across the border, during the Balakot strike and all that. So those things we were able to capture only because of the advanced technology, and that is making all the difference, because now people have started believing in a lot of, because the minute details to which a camera can go, and get so it's no more just, a very superficial kind of a picture that you get very in-depth, coverage. So certainly it will have much more impact. If you see things from a closer range, you understand things better. That is a normal human psychology. If I know somebody from a close range, I understand that person better. Similarly, if I see some picture from a very close range, I understand the situation much better. So I think that it has brought about much more clarity, I believe.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Respected Professor Suresh, sir.
Yes.
A very good morning to you. I am indeed happy to listen to your lecture in this COVID situation. Of your many lectures we have been witnessing. And this morning, we are able to get over the boost of energy from you. I am Dr. Johnson from Avagappa University. This is with respect to visual storytelling, Professor. Nowadays, now there is a next digital storytelling is being enhanced in a more vibrant way. How to make the students of journalism and mass communication, students, those are pursuing, to make them to involve in the digital storytelling techniques. Can you tell us the techniques of them to explore?
I think you and I have been teaching the same thing, but we need to, and particularly during
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Dr. Johnson, I would say that,
yes.
this is something, perhaps the most impactful way of teaching journalism students during this online education is to encourage them to use the mobile phones, because most of the people, most of the students do have a mobile phone. And I think that today nothing can teach them more effectively than a mobile phone, because they don't have access to the cameras we have in our laboratories, in our studios. So the equipment that can really give them practical exposure is the mobile phone. And that can be effectively used by, it is important for each one of us to be particularly aware of the one, there are downloadable free apps, including for recording, including for shooting, including for, editing. Say, for example, something like KineMaster is available, which is the free version is also available. So you and I should know which are the free versions which are available, and we should encourage students to download them and do it themselves. So our classes should focus more on the practical aspects, wherein we teach them to use the apps effectively, which can make good recordings and also do editing on their, simultaneously editing on their mobile phones. They may not be having high-end, but these are softwares which don't require that bandwidth, and they would be able to do. These are all available, easily available. So we should encourage them to use it, and we should give them assignments on thematic assignments, which would, for example, now Diwali is coming. So it can become a pictorial assignments on how Diwali is being celebrated or not being celebrated. That can be. Then you have Christmas, which is coming. So you have events which are happening. You have photographs which can be, the anniversary of the Nirbhaya is coming on December 16th. So, so many news coverage is also coming. So you should actually encourage, give them assignments which have a huge visual content, and ask them to, and they can be just stories next door. It need not be that they have to go out and risk exposure. They can do it. You can give them just simple assignments like capturing the sunset and the sunrise from their windows, or normal life, to capture them. Let their imagination we should give wings to their imagination. Let them be given a free hand, let them think, let them ideate, and let them come across some powerful visuals. I'm sure that we can do it by way of competitions. We can organize, it can be part of the assignment. So there are many such ways in which we can engage the students in a much more fruitful manner.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you.
In addition to the professor points, now the bigger media companies, they are encouraging given story from the mobile.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, VC sir. I am Krishnan Kumar Tiwari from MIT University, Noida, sir.
Yes.
And really, you have explained very well about the decisive movement. What I just want to know, how should, like, students, I am teaching photography for many years. But the problem, what normally students face, they don't have platform for projecting their work. So it is done like, I just want to know, how should we promote our students when they have completed some work, when they have created something? So what are the platforms on which we can promote them so that they can get some confidence?
Dr. Tiwari, I can assure you that today you have a lot of, as Dr. Shriram said, a lot of competitions, companies which are encouraging, such photography, visual storytelling by the students. I mean, you have n number of competitions which are being announced, n number of, platforms which are there. That's one. Second, you should encourage them to have their own vlogs, video logs, and their own, blogs, wherein they can do these things. That is very important, because at the end of the day, tomorrow, I'm not just looking at creating, what do I say, employees, but also I think any media school should now, given the huge technological changes, be preparing media entrepreneurs. And that is possible only if, we teach them how to start their own media platforms, which is no more capital intensive. So I think that, they should be able to upload these things on their YouTube, on their, platforms. So I think if they create and do it, that will give them much more satisfaction. They are not dependent. And of course, you have your own school platforms, media school platforms. That should be, where there should be verticals within the websites, where the student corners should be there, where they should be able to student publication. For example, in my university, I have now instructed that the newsletters that are coming in, they all should be handled by the students, so rather than faculty or other professionals preparing them, let these newsletters be created by the students. Let them write. Only some editorial, I would say filtration should be there, but otherwise we should give them as many opportunities as possible.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Tiwari.
Sir, good morning, sir. This is Vijay from Xavier University, Bhubaneswar, sir.
Yes. How are you?
Sir, I'm doing great, sir. I hope you are also doing great. Sir, I have a question, sir. Your session was very inspiring, especially for the youngsters like us. It was amazing and fabulous. Sir, my question is, we are in the age of digital and we are in the age of media technology. So how, as a media educators, we need to address the need of media technology in media and communication-based curriculum? Because now the students are digital natives in nature. They are no longer analog-based students. They are far more advanced, and they are expecting more from the curriculum and the program, and they wanted more takeaways. How, as a media educators, we can work on it and to develop a curriculum which suits the need of the students?
Yes, very good question. Now there are many challenges also. It gives us that the massive technological changes have given us both opportunity and challenge. So the opportunity is certainly that we are today, we have democratized media to a great extent. More and more people are able to, it has become much more inclusive. As the so-called mainstream media becomes more and more exclusive, technology has enabled people to become active participants in the media process. So I think that to that extent, it's an opportunity. But in terms of challenge, you see, resource is a big challenge. You may be working in a very good university, but with many government departments, government, state government universities, and many other, there are challenges of even basic cameras are not there, even basic multicam facilities are not there. So it's a huge challenge technologically for, So then again, one thing that you and I need to remember is that sometimes in our obsession with the technology, we end up grooming technocrats rather than journalists. We should always remember that we are preparing journalists, we are preparing communicators, not technocrats. Sometimes so much of technology is being brought in that the importance of content, the importance of language, that is, I would say, marginalized. That importance should not be given, less importance. I think that at the end of the day, content, whether visual or textual, content is, content was, content is, and content will always remain the king and the queen. So I think that is something that we should always focus on. And of course, technology, the same technology has also enabled us that to have a lot of features which are available free. That is there. So let us use it to the extent possible. Financial resources certainly are a constraint. Licensed software are certainly very expensive. These challenges certainly are there. But then technology has also enabled that we can do away with a lot of things. And today you have a very intelligent, as you use the term, digital natives. We are digital migrants. They are digital natives. They are adapting to technology like fish to water. So, now this is something very positive. they are able to immediately. So I think that with even basic tools like a mobile phone, I think that they are able to do a lot of stuff. The rest depends on your and my creativity, out of the box thinking on how to make it far more interesting. I visited this uh, my premises in Khandwa, wherein they had, and in government, you need some time to procure things. There are rules to procure. So, and they needed a light, a camera light. So what they did was that, actually they welded a chair, and tied an LED, Chinese LED light, to that, and they were using it as a camera. So I think that a lot of innovation and creativity, what we call in India jugad, that also has to be used in the absence of resources. But yes, technology is certainly changing, and we cannot come up to industry standards. That's a little challenging, but certainly, we can improvise, innovate, I'm sure you can do that.
Inspiring, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, sir, I'm Professor Deepak Tiwari from Kandivali Thakur College, Mumbai. And
Yes.
sir, my question to you is a little bit on ethical side. You
Yes.
said about power of visual communication, but these days we come across so many visuals which are misleading. They are not only changing the characters, they are changing the entire narratives. Okay, so what will be your suggestion to the young budding talent and to us teachers so we can guide our students that, one visual can create a lot of confusion among the minds of the audiences. So please give some guidance, sir.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Dr. Tiwari. I believe that what is happening is that a lot of, morphing, doctoring of videos, morphing of photographs, that is happening. I agree with you. But then what is the solution? Do we throw the baby with the water? That is the question. Technology has to be accepted, with all its manifestations. The thing is that, can we create awareness about the misuse of technology? And for that, you require media literacy programs. Unfortunately, that is not happening. I have always suggested that institutions, media colleges like yours and mine, media departments like ours, we should be adopting villages and localities in cities and villages, like the Department of Social Work does social work in the nearby villages. The law colleges do legal aid programs. Similarly, we should be doing media literacy programs. We should be adopting these villages and localities and conducting media literacy programs. Media literacy is not necessarily for just media students. Media literacy has to be for everybody who is exposed to media. And we have to do it in, actually, I have been very strongly advocating that it should become part of the curriculum, school curriculum itself. So media literacy is the key to it, wherein I'm able to tell them that, seeing is believing, certainly, but not everything that you see has to be necessarily true. You can be misled, you can be misguided. How to identify fake images is something that we need to teach them. So I think that that is immediately, it can be put to good use. So you will have all these images, very violent images, which are shared and which you are told are from, Chhattisgarh, Kashmir, but you would find that when you actually do a reverse Google search,
Yes.
you find that they are from Central Asia, they are from Turkey, they can be from any other part of the world, which can be. So I think it's very important that, we do these media literacy programs, not just for media students, that societal awareness, that will have to be looked into.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Tibak, the media literacy guides are available with the UNESCO website. UNESCO is promoting media literacy education throughout the world. You can easily download the booklet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Suresh, sir. It is really very wonderful session, sir.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I
you,
think
Dr.
after
Sir.
COVID-19, mostly all the webinar related to media, we have seen you, we have heard you, your lecture and experience shared by you, and everywhere like you are nowadays. And today also it was really very informative session on
Thank you so much.
photography and visual communication, sir. Thank you. Only one question from my side. Though the
Yes.
technology is advanced a lot, but still content are not proportional to the technology advancement. Still we are missing good content, whether it is in national channels or entertainment private channels, and OTT have, since there is no censor thing, so that also we can't see with the family. So you can, if light on this.
I agree. I mean, I don't know. I told you, I mean, this was my answer earlier also, that, we are giving so much of importance to technology that content is somewhere missing. Language skills are missing. So I think that we should not, miss out on that in our media schools also. I am setting up a, huge media language lab in our, new campus. We are giving a lot of importance to language skills. The language, look at the language of the media. It's no more the language of the media. There used to be a time when, literary stalwarts used to be the editors of newspapers. Those days are gone. But even now, the basic, you would say that civilized language is not being used even on television debates. So I think that it's really, content is the casualty in this technological advancement. There is so much of packaging, so much of marketing, that the content is missing. And at the end of the day, it is content, a reliable, trustworthy, content that alone can ensure the credibility and survival of media in the long run. So I totally agree that, and for that, we have to train our students to do a lot of ground reporting from ground zero, to write on various aspects, to read as much as they are possible. Today, a lot of journalists, I'm sorry to say this, even at the cost of repetition, that, we are writing without reading and speaking without listening. So this has become a big casualty. So obviously content will suffer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Sunil Kalai from Tripura University, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, indeed, it was really very helpful listening to you. And I have taken seriously about your concept of citizen journalist versus the content creator. Also today, if we look at the media scenario in the whole of our country, it is quite challenging. Means that when we teach our students the concept of journalism, now they are more concerned about mass media turning into money media. So the whole question of ethical journalism versus the question of earning comes into a big major role today. So at times we feel helpless because most of the media organizations goes the other side and media institutions remain on the other side. So how do we synchronize these difficulties?
No, what specifically, if you can come to that?
What I'm saying is media organizations are more driven by profit orientation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And whereas media educators like you and me are more concerned about the ethical aspect.
Yes, yes. There is a huge disconnect. I agree with you. I totally agree with you, Dr. Sunil, that, there is a huge disconnect because today the role of the editor has been marginalized like anything. Today it is the marketing and the commercial departments which call the shots. Whereas in our media schools, we teach them about, so what is important is that there has to be a very strong industry connect. So what I have done in my institution, I had experimented it earlier at IIMC also, but very institutionally what I am doing it in my campuses are that I am having a very strong mentorship program wherein I am, while the teaching is being done by media educators, The mentorship is done by people from the industry. So what is happening is that today, when the students leave the university and go to the industry, they suddenly are disillusioned. They say that, look, this is what we learned, but this is not something, what we see here is not something that has been taught to us. Similarly, industry people, the first thing they tell the students is that you forget whatever you had learned in your media school, we will teach you anew. So there is this disconnect, and that is because there is an absence of strong industry academia interface. Particularly in our profession, we have to have that industry orientation, and we have to engage. I have a problem with this entire concept of internship. After 3 years course, we give 1 or 2 months internship towards the end of the 6th semester. Now, by then the damage has already been done. So the foundations of disillusionment has been laid. So I think that it is important that this industry connect is right there from the word go. You need to have programs to ensure that right from the moment they enter the media school, the J school, from there onwards till their final semesters, they have exposure to the industry. So then there is no disconnect. Yes. And I keep telling them, look, we will give you strong theoretical foundations. Practical exposure, the media stalwarts will give you. So there is no disconnect. And when they ask me that, look, this is what is being taught to us in terms of ethics and principles, I tell them that keep them alive. It will come handy. Today, you are not in a position to change the scenario, but tomorrow, you will get that opportunity. I got my opportunities. You will get yours. So today, being a junior, you may not be able to, make any changes. But once you become seniors in your profession, then you can bring qualitative changes. So that's it. I agree.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Dr. Sriram, I think it's 11 o'clock. Time for your... Dr. Sriram, you are muted.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Professor. On behalf of our University College of Engineering and Anna University, I thank Professor K G Suresh, also our senior most academician, journalist, and our friend. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. It was a pleasure as always.
I hope, as you said, we will meet in person again in the near future. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Participants, please put your attendance. Please open and put your attendance, submit the form. It will open up to another 10 minutes. Okay. Next session will start at 11:30 a.m. Please join sharply. Thank you very much. Sir, thank you, professors. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.